I am KidMeister LP, and with this is my favorite Mega Man X title of the Super Nintendo trilogy, and it's also my second favorite game in the entire series, for that matter. Man, I love this game so much that I watch the intro every time I load it up. I love the music so much. With me today I have...
Hi guys, I'm JARRETTEENOOOO.
Hey there guys, I'm Sonic Ghost.
And hey guys, Sax226 here.
While it doesn't really make a whole lot of changes from X1 to X2, it does make some improvements over it, such as level design, bosses. The weapons aren't as useful, but they are a bit more creative, if you know what I mean. And I think it's got a more variety-ish soundtrack that's good. I mean, it doesn't have the quality, but it's got the more variety-ish selection, if you know what I mean. So, in my opinion, X2 is in everywhere better than X1.
Plus it's got Mode 7!
You gotta see that Mode 7. Well, I do agree with you on most of your points. It's really, for the most part, just how your preferences are. I enjoy X1 more than 2. I go back to that one more, but I give X2 a lot of its own rights, of its improvements. It did a lot better of a job with its level design, some of its weapons and such. From this version, I just have more of a affiliation with the first game, because I played it more. It was the first one I played in the series. But I see myself coming back to X2 a lot in the Mega Man series. One of the ones I played the most too, actually.
And it also changes
one of the most unique ones.
It changes the dash settings a little bit to where it's much more easier. It's much more easier to use in this game than it is in X1, because you can pretty much dash on more of a dime than you could in the first game, and plus you can simply hold the dash button while jumping off walls to give yourself distance, rather than having to press the dash button and the jump button at the same time, which did kind of piss me off a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, they improved on how...
Also, no one mourned for the green backer, dude.
Yeah.
Why didn't I bring that up?
I think it's because it's been overdone.
That was like the one thing I had on my mind the most when I was coming to this, and I completely forgot.
Okay,
I think it's because it's been overdone too,
just for the sake of hilarity, the title for this part should totally be "No One Mourned for the Green Backer."
Because that's like the way everybody starts off. This
everyone starts it up that way.
Tradition. I am sad.
Nah, it's alright.
I mentioned it real quick in my Let's Play, but I didn't want to focus on it much, because I know it's one of those more overdone things in this game.
Yes.
Just Green Biker do so much.
And X2 pretty much begins the tradition of giant boss, but not very threatening.
Yeah. Also, this was the last game in the X series that had this little glitch where if you dash and then shoot your Buster Shot, it does more damage. They fixed this in X3, so you can't do this a little longer.
Also, he kind of clamped you in his armpit there.
Yeah. He like wanted to smell the fresh daisies of him.
More like he needed just a little bit more of affection before he died, so he wanted to give me one last hug. And here we meet our antagonists.
I know you're using Screamy Horrors for this, you're using Camtasia, but that looks really weird with a half frame rate. Maybe it looks like he just keeps on popping in and it's like, where am I?
He's gone! He's disappeared! They can't track him all that well.
I never know people use them, it's just, I don't like using them for that reason. For some reason, they have so much video games.
Which is odd now that you bring that up, because for some reason the frame rate when I record a 64 game with Camtasia is better than a 16-bit game.
I looked at Smash Bros. We have in the archives, and it's like, well, it did look a little better than some of them. I know it was still choppy, but that's mostly because I always had issues with Screen Recorder in a 3D game. It has to be full fluid motion, otherwise it doesn't work.
It looks even worse here, oh my god.
Yeah, that's also why I wanted to track down the N64 version of Rayman 2 to play it again, because I'm gonna have a hard time recording it. So I'll just record it off Dazzle, make my life 10 times easier.
Wire sponge. Also known as scouring pad.
This stage features a very interesting gimmick that not many people know about. But because it suffers from Chill Penguin stage fever, not many people know of it. And I didn't figure this out until recently. Basically, if you shoot those orb things that you come across in the stage with a certain Maverick weapon, it alters the stage a little bit from what I've heard.
Actually, it just changes if you hit it with the Buster.
Not really, because I haven't really noticed it change much with the Buster.
That's actually what I was going to say. I never noticed it either. So.
Yeah, I've only actually noticed it change when I hit it with the Buster, and I'm going on what happens in Mega Man Extreme 2. Even if you hit it with the Buster, it breaks, it starts raining, it breaks, it goes really sunny, it breaks, it starts raining again.
Well, they don't really do it that much in X2.
Yeah.
Probably something they just did for Extreme 2, but in this one you gotta use that weapon. Otherwise, if you're doing it, you're just having pure coincidence.
Look at all the science.
And look, every single time you're moving back and forth to the area, it's like all of a sudden it's raining, all of a sudden it's sunny, all of a sudden it's raining. Wow, bipolar weather much.
It's almost really Melbourne.
This is definitely one of my favorite stages in X2. I mean, yeah, it does have a bit of a gimmick that does get missed out on, but regardless, like the rainy weather sections, I felt like, though some people may feel like it's a bit annoying, I feel it does add to its structure and good design. So yes, I love X2's stages to death. Also,
that was Wow Sponge's stage already done.
Yeah.
That was kind of fast.
Exactly. I am a boss at X2. Can you tell I've played this game a lot?
Yes. That's kind of how we'll see some of the other games like I'll get to, and for other people too. And to get you more in the commentary, Jared, I know you haven't played many Mega Man games. You said you played, what was it, the demo of 9 once before?
There was a demo of 9?
Yeah, there's demo 9 and 10.
Huh.
Mostly on the newer systems like PlayStation and Xbox. We didn't get that treatment.
Okay, that's why I didn't hear of it then.
But yeah, you say you at least just played the demo Mega Man 9, was it? Jarrett?
Did he drop?
We just noticed that, holy crap.
Oh, whoops!
I was wondering why he was silent, thank you, full screen.
Yeah, he dropped and he's actually gone offline again, wow.
He did. Thank you, full screen.
Whoops.
Okay, so that plan backfired. It's a good thing I mentioned something.
Yeah,
well, technically I did, but...
Well, at least I brought him up on that one, then you mentioned it afterwards. You get the idea. It's a good thing we mentioned something.
Whoops. My bad for not paying more attention to the call, I suppose.
But like I said, that blames full screen on that. If I was on my desktop, I have noticed, but yeah, no, not on the laptop. Fire Sponge in a nutshell.
Pretty much.
Now on to the next mapper.
And for that, we get the Thunderclaw. Hang on a minute.
Wait. Oh, Strike Chain. That doesn't sound...
So similar!
And we are going to be sequence breaking in Mr. Alligator's stage, so...
Okay, good. You are...
Because of the structure I go in, I don't exactly go in weakness order because I pretty much know how to own these bosses pretty easily. I only have to go back to one stage.
You would say this would be a Buster Run like the other Mega Man games you do?
Kind of, not really, because I actually use the Buster upgrade, which does more damage than the weapons themselves. It actually makes the boss fight against Wheel Gator a lot faster.
You pretty much want to use the double bus shot because of that? Because my phone going off? Really? But no, it's because of the fact that if you use the weakness, it actually takes you longer. But if you use the double buster, you actually kill the thing pretty fast. And that was actually Jarrett. What do you know? His internet's out, that's why he's gone.
Ah. Okay.
I thought that's what happened. But actually, before we go any further, I want to bring up something about the stage. Luckily, though, Camtasia's picking it up for you, but... Well, kind of. The stage
no, Jarrettino! Stuff the green biker, dude. We're already about Jarrett.
Torture!
But as I was saying, the stage actually has a shaking gimmick going on. Kind of hurts the eyes after a while, but this is something that usually doesn't get transferred over, like with standard capture cards and like frap recordings and such, because it's like motionless, unless you try to force it for the full 30 frames. Otherwise, YouTube makes it look terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for awful compression, YouTube.
Yeah, no, in my playthrough, because I blended the fields, it looked better, but at the same time, it looked like crap for some reason, because I used to use Camtasia for that, and now I never use Camtasia for Dazzle footage, because it looks awful. I'll just use Sony
Was it because
Vegas.
the storm tornado or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, no, because it blended the field just fine in the capture part, so you can see that kind of stuff. But the issue is, it like made all these weird wavy lines. That's why I had to go back to the last 2 parts of Mega Man X2 because it just looked terrible. And I wanted to go back and redo it, and I got the PVR set up, so like, hey, I don't have to do this anymore. Just put it straight into the Power Director.
Okay.
And then into Vegas because Power Director failed me. That's besides the point.
Right on!
No, you failed Power Director. What are you talking about? Get out of here, son.
This side armor is pretty unique because you can actually charge up the punches and it has a hover ability, but you don't see it much in the game. You really
Yeah,
don't.
the only thing it really does is that it charges up and it hovers. The only reason you need to hover, by the way, is for a certain heart tank and Crystal Snail stage, but that's about it.
I'll be honest, that right armor probably appears more in Mega Man Extreme 1 than it does in X2.
Yeah, I think so, and good for you, sequence breaking. You're supposed to get that later with a part upgrade, but screw that, we have invincibility frames.
Indeed.
You don't
I take it you're not going after the X.
No. Yeah, I forgot to bring that up. I am not going after the X Hunters in this playthrough. If it doesn't alter the ending, then if certain elements like that don't alter the ending at all, then I don't typically go after that. Secret Boss and Street Fighter X Mega Man, I am looking at you, but
yeah. I was about to say Akuma, Sagat.
Pretty much explain the differences in the endings because I have seen how it pretty much differs from start to finish. Besides the different boss fight you don't get if you go after the not the Mavericks, the X Hunters. The only real difference you get is like a little bit of dialogue here and there. The scenes are exactly the same, but some of the dialogue that you get from Zero kind of changes because you will see Zero later on. That's kind of holding our plot here, so I'm not spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Oh, and besides, the fight and the music with Zero is awesome. Who doesn't want to miss it?
Yeah, I enjoy doing that. I still go out of my way and fight the X Hunters because then, you know, I feel like I'm missing out on these extra bosses if I skip them. So that's kind of why I skip the X fight for the not X fight, the Zero fight for the most part. Although I do go back and fight them from time to time. Because there's a password feature and I can skip me right to the end if I want it.
Cease your burping, sir.
Never! Isn't that right, Mr. Wheelgator? And now he's blue.
Yes.
I was about to say!
Oh well, at least I'm not recording this in Cam2 Studio.
Yeah, at least
That is a good point.
As that's like near impossible. In fact, I don't even know if it saved the video file or not.
I don't know why.
Darn you and your file size limit.
Yeah, that stupid cap out limit it has.
Yeah.
I applaud people who can get Cam Studio to work for them, but quite frankly, if you want a stable frame rate and like reasonable quality, it's just no.
For screen recorders, it's a good free tool. If you get the right code to work and such, it's good. But besides that, not really.
The only way you can really get that to work is if you do it with certain NES games, and even then, you can't record them for that long, otherwise you'll end up getting booted out of that too.
Well, I noticed if you're not using the Cam Studio lossless codec, your frame rate's all over the place. For stability, it's still not good, but for frame rate, it just gets better with the lossless codec. It's kind of required. I can't believe we BS'd our way through that, but just pretty much talking about recording
screen recorders and burping.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Wheelgator, but he's a fight.
Yeah, I feel the same.
And we get my favorite weapon in the game! Spin wheel. I will be abusing that a lot. A lot.
It's a useful weapon in this game. It's one of the most useful ones.
We get the Nitro Cutter. Hang on a minute. It was kind of reused in Mega Man 10.
So yeah, actually, what's going on here, because we're not going to spend the time actually voice acting it.
And Mega Man disappeared again.
The X-Hunters have appeared in random stages to go after X. Well, technically we're hunting them down, and then in that case, why are they called Hunters? But anywho,
X-Hunteds.
Kind of
you have to find the X-Hunters and stages they appear in, and you have to do it within a certain amount of You know what? I'll just explain this in the next video. It's too convoluted.
The thing is about them is, yeah, they appear in certain stages. You can kind of shift their movements around by appearing in the stage and then leaving it. Either beating it or killing yourself or just even leaving if you can. That's a cheap tactic if you need to force them into your own pattern. That's why I always recommend people to do. If they're going after the hunters, just go to a stage you already played, leave, and that swaps their orders.
It's like breaking the movement AI of legendaries in Pokemon Gold.
It's kind of the same way about it.
Yeah, we'll go into better detail with the X Hunters in the next part. So see you guys then. Okay, we'll start after Pingus.
You and your Pingus. Giggity by the way, but yeah, let's just go.
I like to play with
it
it every night. Nah, I'm just kidding.
I'm recording, Ken.
Bloopers.